Hey guys, it's me Tiny. I'm back again. I wanted to make this one video and just leave it alone for the next few weeks so I can edit my books and finish writing First Comes Love. But I decided not to. So I actually want to share with you guys a little something. Me and a new friend have been reading a Grateful Heart series. She actually got me back into reading because I wasn't really reading a whole lot of books. I was just writing them. And then I stumbled upon a book called Stuck in the Country with You. I was just in Barnes and Noble one day. I said, I'm going to buy a book. And I saw it and I said, it seems interesting. Why not? Without even reading any part of it, I just said, why not? And that's how I got into that book. And then I was online, and so I'm not a super social person. I find friends online. That's how I find friends. So I was online, and I asked in a group. I said, "Hey, is anyone interested in Christian romance?" And I got crickets. Apparently, people don't like Christian romance. They like it all spicy. And I was like, okay, well, fine. And then I was just gonna delete the post. And then as I was going to delete the post, someone says, yeah, I like Christian romance. I'm reading a series. I'm about to start a series called Grateful Hearts. And I said, that sounds interesting. So I bought the first book, which is Barren. And the series, there's Barren, Broken, and Burden, I believe. So I read this one last week. It was a good book. I feel like it was rushed a little bit towards the end. If you read this book, you probably understand why. But I feel like it was rushed towards the end. Me and the Tay character, if you read the book, me and Tay, I was rooting for Tay the whole time. But towards the end, I was like, I don't really like this female leadership thing. It's a Christian book, so men are supposed to be the head of the household. That's all I'm gonna say as far as that goes. But yeah. So I ordered the next book in the series. It's called Broken, I believe. Broken. Let me see. Hold on. I'm on my computer. Hold on. I hate to do this on my video because I'm not gonna edit this out. What's it called? It is called Broken. It comes tomorrow. So I'll be reading this tomorrow. It's a really short read. It's not super short, but it's a short read. It is how many pages? It's 200 pages. So it's a 200-page read. I would consider this a novella. 200 pages. I don't know how many words, but 200 pages I would consider it a novella. And so the next one should also be a novella, and it's Christian romance. So that's something. Now, what is Christian romance compared to other romance, you may ask? Well, Christian romance, first off, there's no spice. No spice at all, no seasonings. It's just cooked. That's just it. It's no spice. It's cleaned and baked. That's all it is. No seasoning. Whereas my Christian romance, I don't write Christian romance. I write romance with a Christian influence with black characters. So I wouldn't even call myself a Christian romance writer. I'm a writer that's a Christian who writes romance with influences from Christ. But that's how I had to describe it, because people are like, "Oh, you don't have any spice in your book," and I'm like, "There's spice, there's seasoning in there, but it's not like graphic erotica type of stuff. It's just kind of like, oh, this thing happened when they got excited." But it's more about love, making love instead of just getting it in, you know? I mean, there's plenty of people that love reading the getting in books too, and that's cool. I've read some, and they're very interesting. I just don't think that should be the whole plot of the book. You know, that shouldn't be the whole thing of the book. Like just getting it in, like it's like, okay, and then what? And then what happened? What happened afterwards? But I like my type of books because, you know, there's actually a story that goes on. And I like Christian romance. So this is what I brought this down. Because I was actually just distracted myself completely. I was writing my book, First Comes Love. And I decided to make a video on Barren. So also another thing about Barren, not only is it about this one woman, of course, she's barren because the title parent, it kind of gives it away. But I related to it because I found out after I had my son that I was diagnosed with PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome, which means I probably have cysts on my ovaries. They never did an ultrasound. My periods just are wonky, and so they decided, hey, you have PCOS. We don't know if it's true or not, but my periods seem to be signaling that that's the cause. And also, I keep growing facial hair, which is not normal, and my testosterone levels are a little bit higher than they should be, and so that's that. But I relate to this book because of that. She's barren to an extent where she has miscarriages. So she can conceive, but she has miscarriages. And that's all I'm going to share with that. And I conceived twice already, and now I'm somewhat barren. Well, I conceived more than twice, but only 2 surviving children. We're not going to go into that right now. But anywho, so I really like this book. I think it's cute. For those that don't like spice, if you don't like seasoning, this is the best book for you. There's some things in this book that I don't think is realistic, and I told the girl that I was reading the book with, I said, hey, some things are not realistic in this book. And she's like, yeah, I thought that too, but also, I thought that, what'd she say? I have it in my notes, what she said. I just can't remember what she said right now. But some parts just weren't realistic. Some things weren't resolved. That's the word she used, resolved. Some things weren't resolved, and in real life, you couldn't have a marriage with things unresolved and just act like nothing happened afterwards. Like, we got to discuss this. We got to go to counseling. And in the book, they do go to counseling, the couple. But it's like, you didn't resolve anything. You just moved past it and act like nothing happened. Like, they just moved, like, when we should have been hearing, like, how they resolve stuff, they just put a year later, and then it's a whole different ending of a story. It's like, what? How did you get there? Like, there needs to be something to connect me from here to the next year. But that's just me. That's just my thinking. But it's a good book. I'm reading Broken next, so of course I liked it. I hope Broken actually has a more realistic ending, more realistic characters. I probably won't be able to relate to this one as much, just because she is. Well, I don't want to spoil it for you because. So everyone in the trilogy are friends. So this girl, her name is Nia. Nia has a friend named Phoebe and Gabby. Gabby is one of my favorite characters in this book, besides Tay. I root for Tay. And what does he do? Phoebe is a churchgoer. No, Gabby is a churchgoer. Phoebe is not. And so Broken, I think it's about Phoebe going through whatever she's going through, and then Burden is about Gabby's story. Another thing that I like about this book is that they actually show like life without God versus life with God, because at the beginning of the book, well, I don't want to spoil it, so you guys got to read it, and then we can talk about it. When you guys read it, let me know, so then we can talk about it. How about that? Let's do that. But I like the Christian themes in it. That's why it's a Christian romance versus my books, which are my characters pray and they go to church, but they also have spice. They have spicy scenes. So that's the main difference. But I like this book. I might read it again. We'll see. It's not one of those books where you're like, I can't put it down. I can't put it down. What book was that I couldn't put down? It was something. It was an older book. Like, it was probably by Alice Walker. The lady who wrote Raising the Sun. Is that that's the lady who wrote The Raising the Sun. It was an older book, but I was like, I can't put this down. And I literally had to sit there and read until I was done with it. There was no sleeping that night. No sleeping. But I like books that I can't put down. Like if I feel like I have to miss sleep to get to the end of this book, that's a good book. That's a real good book. And that's how I want my books to be. My books are short though. My books are like my books are novellas and novelettes. So they're something that you should be able to read in a day. You should honestly be able to read my books within a few hours if you're really diligent. But one day I'm gonna get up to the point where people are reading my books for days. We'll see. I gotta get a bigger catalog and write longer books for that. But that's all I want to share with you about Barren. I hope that you guys read it, check it out. Um, it's a good book. I don't want to say predictable, but when the woman is leading, you can kind of guess. That's all I'm going to say. All right, bye guys.